This week we're checking out why would you not want to move to Torrance, California. What's up, everybody? CheyneInman here, local real estate agent in Southern California, helping families move here from all over the world. And so if that is you, be sure to subscribe and hit like so you're notified every time we put out a new video. And if you're thinking of moving here and you're just trying to get an idea of what the area is like and what you're really looking for, I'd love to help you get started in that search. So feel free to call, text, or email me and we can get started as soon as you're ready. All right, so today we are looking at why would you not want to move to Torrance, California. And I have a lot of videos on here kind of going over pros and cons of Torrance and, what some of the reasons are people are moving here. And so today I thought we'd look at why you might not want to move here, why it might not be a good fit for you, or, some of the reasons why people have chosen other cities in the area, for instance, like Redondo Beach or Palos Verdes or, somewhere just outside of the area. And so if you're still, trying to figure out where you want to go and if this is the right fit for you, then that's what we're going to be going over today. All right, and the first thing we're going to be looking at is something that comes up in the comments here or just messages or questions or people that are moving here have concerned about, and that's the refineries in Torrance. And there are, large refineries in Torrance, and obviously people have concerns about, health risks of living near a refinery. And so you definitely want to do your research on that and figure out if you think that could be a risk for you. But you also have to understand that not all of Torrance is the refinery. So, you've got areas in West Torrance or South Torrance where you're by the beach. You've got areas where you're tucked away in the neighborhoods. And so, the refineries are very large sections of Torrance, but that's not necessarily where all the homes are either. And so, I hear people saying, oh, how many miles away from a refinery can you live or should you live or different things like that. And so, yeah, definitely do your research on that and figure out what is, going to be in your comfort area and how far away, you feel like is a far enough away. Because there are homes that are directly across the street from the refinery, and that could be a concern for sure, and that could affect the pricing of the home. And then there are homes that are, you don't ever see the refineries because you're never on that side of the town. So just trying to figure out where in the town are the homes that fit in your search, miles away from a refinery, or if it doesn't bother you how close you are to the refinery. And then, just doing your research on what are the effects of living close to a refinery. All right, and the next con or thought of why not to live in Torrance is just being close to freeways. And so there are a lot of sections of Torrance where you might be directly underneath the freeway or right next to a freeway. And so that could definitely be a negative aspect if, you hear the traffic and you can see the billboard signs up on the freeway. Those kinds of things may be a deterrent for you, and that might also affect the pricing. It might be a little bit more affordable in that section. So if you don't have a problem with the noise or being close to a freeway, or let's say you're commuting into downtown and you want to be close to jumping on the freeway, that could also be a good thing. I'm in the West Torrance section of Torrance, and it does actually take me quite a bit just to get onto the freeway. So, it takes me maybe 15 minutes of stoplights and going through town just to reach the freeway. So if I was commuting into downtown or something every day, that might be something I'd want to be a little bit closer to the freeways in that aspect. So that could be a con or it could be a pro, just depending on what your need is in your lifestyle and your job and everything. So North Torrance definitely has some houses that are right around the freeways, and so that could be a plus or it could be a minus for what you need in your search. All right, and the next thing that might deter you from living in Torrance is the style of homes. And so there are versatile styles of homes here. You've got condos and townhomes and single family residences and larger homes and smaller homes. There's lots of different neighborhoods that can offer a lot of different styles of homes. But yeah, I think that is something that I've seen clients move from Torrance to Redondo or Torrance to Palos Verdes because maybe they want a larger interior space, or maybe they want walkability to the beach, or maybe they want a large interior space and they don't care about an exterior space, or maybe they want a large yard. And so there are options for all those things, but it's definitely, a very common aspect of Torrance for people to say, hey, I was really hoping for a bigger interior space and I can't find it here. And so at least not within their price range. So maybe you have a home that's, been remodeled and is huge and updated, but maybe it's, outside of your budget. And so that's where I think the disconnect comes in with Torrance, and not having the style of home people want is just does it exist in their price range. So there are lots of different styles: condos, townhomes, single family residences, older, newer, but the traditional home that was built in Torrance for the most part is going to be built in the 50s or 60s, and maybe have like a 1,500 square foot floor plan. And so if you're somebody that wants that bigger, newer, updated home, then it's either going to come at a higher price or in a different community. All right, and the next thing that might detour people from moving to Torrance is just how spread out it is. So, you've got North Torrance, South Torrance, West Torrance, and Torrance high schools, and each one of those areas are pretty far apart from each other. Maybe not in miles, but just traffic in Southern California, getting from one area to the next can take a little bit, especially, stoplights and different things can slow you down. So everyone has a different point of reference as what is far and what is not, but I do feel like Torrance is a little bit more spread out than some of the other areas in the South Bay. Redondo Beach, you've got North Redondo and South Redondo. Torrance, you've got a lot of different sections. You've got Old Torrance, and you've got, the Hollywood Riviera section that splits off with Redondo Beach addresses and Torrance addresses. You've got West Torrance and South Torrance, and then you've got areas like North Torrance that are up by the freeway. So it's got a lot of different styles of living in each one of those communities and neighborhoods, but it also can be very spread apart. And if you're somebody that just really wants the walkability of a community, then maybe you find that within that little neighborhood, but you're not going to be able to experience all of Torrance in one, walk around the park. All right, and the last deterrent for moving to Torrance is just kind of the same thing with everywhere in Southern California. It's getting very expensive. So it is becoming more and more difficult to find a single family residence for under $1 million. That's a good size square footage and a good footprint. So maybe it doesn't need as much updatedness on the interior. Move-in ready for under $1 million can be difficult. And so that could be, maybe you need to look at condos or townhomes, or, just maybe you need to expand your search to other areas within Southern California. But yeah, as Torrance and other areas of Southern California are getting more and more expensive, it's just about kind of figuring out what the wants and needs are in your search. Maybe a condo was not originally on your plan, your goals, but as you look at it, you're like, hey, I need a lot of square footage, I want it to be updated, and I need it to be in a certain price range, and that brings me to a condo in Torrance. Or maybe you're like, okay, I don't care if it's older and updated, I just want it to be in a certain neighborhood or something. Then those things are going to kind of change where you're looking at. But yeah, as housing prices get more and more expensive, those are the kind of things you need to think about, is what are really wants and needs on your search, and what is going to give you that within your price range. So if you are thinking of moving to this area, I'd love to help you find that home. So feel free to call, text, or email me anytime.